Hello, my name is Nasywa Salsabila student number 007. Today I will talk about how I had found English and how it affected me as a person. I first encountered English in elementary school, in the first year of elementary school to be exact. I hadn't found the appeal of English itself at the time. I hated it just like many other kids my age who didn't really understand a foreign language. But years passed, and in fifth grade, I began to find English to be more interesting. And I got curious because in the same year, I got my first phone where I used to watch these YouTubers that plays Minecraft, and almost all of them speaks English, so I don't understand them. At the same time, I also watch many clips of cartoon that I like, and people make edits of them singing songs. And I remember there's this one song that stuck with me. It's called "Mama" by My Chemical Romance, and from then I began to learn English by myself. Learning English had genuinely changed the perspective of my life. I get to learn to be more open minded with people choices, beliefs, sexualities, and etc. It has also helped me to talk about my problem more easily because when I talk in my own language, I feel too vulnerable, and then I would just shy away and never talk about it anymore. The first time I feel like I'm a real English speaker is in high school. I think it was in my freshman year when my English teacher spoke to me in English and I could reply to him with no problem. And that gave me sort of confidence for that. I will always thank him. Like I mentioned before, the biggest piece of media that are very important to me are Minecraft and the song called Mama from My Chemical Romance that leads me to learn English properly. When I speak to my family, I would use vernaculars to speak to them because I'm familiar with them. And of course, it would be weird if I just suddenly speak in full English to them because not a lot of them understand English. But when I speak to my closest friends, I would use dialect. And we, of course, have different accents, but we still understand each other well. Now, when I speak to people or friends that aren't close to me, I would either use Indonesia or English depending on who I was speaking with and the situation that I'm with. I would also do code switching whenever I talk to my friends and family because sometimes I forgot the word in one of the language that I speak. Like for example, when I talk to my friends, I forgot about the word brush in English, so I would just say the Indonesia translation of that same words. Lingua franca, according to Google, is a common language used by people who speak different native language to communicate, acting as bridge for trade, diplomacy, education, and cultural exchange, with English currently being the dominant global one. Though historically, languages like Latin, Arabic, and French serve this role. In my case, English would be used to be the bridge to speak with people on game that I played with. For example, I played Roblox with many people with different backgrounds and obviously different languages. I have a friend from Netherlands and we would use English because I don't understand his language and he doesn't understand my language either. So we use English to communicate with each other and to understand each other better. I mostly use English in media social to talk about my days, my problems, and things that I would share with people online. It's of course very different with the language that I used to speak with people around me in real life, depending on the people that I talk to and the context of that conversation itself. I found using English as my main language to express myself online to be more comfortable instead of using my own language, which is Indonesia. Like I had mentioned before, when it comes to expressing my emotion, I tend to use English more than using Indonesia. For example, I had been using Twitter as my own personal journal. No one knows the account existed, but I just ramble there often because it's easy to just dump things in one long note instead of talking about it. At least in my case, it was easier to just write than talk about it. And I felt happy after I talked about my problems on Twitter. And also, it doesn't have to be just me talking about my problem. It could also about me criticizing the government. And from what I've seen, people that criticize the government with using English, they tend to not get in trouble. So stay from the buzzer. I'm also very thankful to find this language to be able to learn and understand it. To me, English had brought me to many wonderful friends, many wonderful memories, and of course, I'm just thankful that I'm able to pursue this language in a more higher level than high school. I'm grateful of the friends that I made in this community. And I also hope I would be able to get a scholarship somewhere in Europe, or more specifically United Kingdom, because I've always wanted to visit the country and I think it's a beautiful country. And that was my journey on how I found English and how it has changed the trajectory of my life. I apologize if some words that it said might sound too informal or seem to be disrespectful. Thank you for watching and listening to my Pecha Kucha.